right, seeing 6 o'clock, I'm going to call to order the Village of Belleville Planning Commission meeting for July 8th, 2026. Roll call.
Larry Enlow is here on virtual.
Here.
Zach Cordell is absent. Steve Landry is also absent. Kelly Nice is here virtually.
Yep.
Jared Wells.
Here.
Gary Ziegler.
Here.
Mike Service.
Here.
You have a quorum.
All right. Public comment. Public comment.
And I have no one.
Question.
No?
I should probably stand up.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
So Ashley, 214 North Park. It's not on the agenda, but when people buy up a whole bunch of land that we've been for sale, they buy it for a certain purpose, say, across from Pigway, things like that. Or even the property, I think it was called the Faggy property, I don't know.
Wrestling Park.
Yeah, one that like Bonnie and Larry and all of them spoke on not too long ago.
Yeah.
When the people buy up that property, I guess I'm confused on how it goes, because it seems that they already know the intended use of it, because that's what you're gonna buy it for, you already know what you want. I guess I'm surprised how the town gets, like, the village people get to learn about it later when it's already in the process. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I'm confused on if we have input on passing something or not for a development, that it's not right away after these people have already purchased it and spent up a bunch of money on it. And it will eventually get passed because that's what they're there to buy the property for.
The initial transaction is a private transaction.
Okay.
So, we would have no way of knowing anything going on in the private sector that way.
And I get that.
Yeah.
So is it just when you bring things to here for the community to speak about it, is it just basically to inform them and let them or us say our piece about it, knowing it's still going to happen anyway?
Well, the process then is, they're now the landowner.
Yeah.
It could be the existing landowner, wouldn't even need to sell to someone.
Okay.
But usually, like you're saying, that's how it happens. And then the landowner, owner, petitions the village or town.
Almost all items from plan commission become because we get an application. An application in either for, there's like 5 or 6 different plan commission applications. And so usually what happens is we get the application and they'll often talk to zoning, village planner, zoning administrator, whatever. But we have the time to know which applications for whatever they're using the land they want to be. And then when we get that application, then we go through the process of that application, and several of those require notices to the public and some of those don't. And
Right. Whether it requires notices to the public, it gets posted in an agenda, that's going to be talked about, and that's how the public gets noticed. And a lot of times that's how the trustees find out about things too.
And the development down here is a prime example. I mean, they came with a preliminary plat and there was a lot of outrage about the number of lots. So it's not a given. It's probably a given that it's going to be developed, but we cut 40 homes or whatever out down here, or they cut 40 homes because, I don't think it was going to pass unless they made some changes. So.
And I do understand that process now, that we get to help shape that, or you guys get to help shape what it turns into. Yeah, okay, I think I've got my.
We do control zoning a little bit, but the comprehensive plan kind of dictates what we want to do with future land. Right.
It just basically says that, that's what the public notice is for. It's just saying this is happening either way. You can say something.
And to Jared's point, we're doing it in the middle of the comprehensive plan now, so there will be public hearings on that when we get a draft. So that's when, if people think that we've got, way too much housing or too dense a housing or too whatever, that's when they should come, and because once that plan's approved, then you need to amend it if we're gonna allow something different in there, so.
Right, because we're bound by all those documents that have been approved.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Good question.
Any other public comment?
Any?
I have no public comment assigned at this time.
All right. Consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted in one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a commission member requests it, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered the first item after approval of the consent agenda. And tonight we have the minutes from our June 10th Plan Commission meeting and approval of resolution 2026-04 conditional use permit for 990 West Boulevard.
I'll move approval of the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Gary, second by Jared. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. On to business. We've got a conditional use permit for 1019 River Street, Suite 4.
This application is still kind of in process, but we had already noticed the public hearing. So we're gonna go ahead and hold the public hearing tonight and then bring the actual application back to you guys next month for decision. I can just briefly, in absence of Ian, explain generally what's happening. This is the Taqueria my Spanish is bad. Yes, thank you. Near the Piggly Wiggly, they just got a Class B beer, Class C wine. They would like to add additional outdoor seating over there by creating a beer garden. They do have permission from the owner of the complex up there. There's still some back and forth between Ian and the owners in the design and the plans and feasibility and making sure that fits ordinance and stuff. And so, like I said, it's not ready for, like Ian doesn't have a memo. He doesn't have any information he can provide at this time for you guys, but he'll have that submitted by the next meeting. So we're just gonna go ahead and hold the public hearing for anybody that was interested to speak for or against the idea of having that beer garden there.
All right. And now open the public hearing at 6:08 p.m.
Okay, I did publish the notice for the public hearing in the Post Messenger Recorder on June 25th and July 2nd. I have the affidavit of publication. I wasn't able to put that in the agenda packet. It just came yesterday, I think. We also posted it at Village Hall, Village Center, the Public Library, and the website on last Thursday.
All right. Any public participation?
I have no one assigned besides that can speak.
Okay. Are there any comments?
I think it's fine as long as the owner of the property is okay with it. I meant to go and look, but so I guess I don't pay attention when I go in, but the stuff that the barbecue joint had over there, the shipping containers, they're gone, right?
It was gone when the.
I thought so. Like I said, I guess I don't pay much attention.
There is a trailer or a storage container there.
Okay, it doesn't belong to the.
Right, I don't think
I'm not sure.
I don't think it belongs to this business.
Not to my knowledge.
I did drive past there because that's right in my neighborhood.
So there's some concerns about the safety about where he wanted to put that beer garden, just because it's right there on the corner and the traffic comes around.
Once coming in and
Yeah, like I said, they're still discussing that and adjusting things, and Ian will have more information for you next time.
Right. I guess that was my main concern too, as I came in from that
right there.
Fly around that corner.
Maybe the two cars, yeah.
Yes.
It gets kind of narrow in there, but I guess they could, at the same time, you could have all those spots parked, you know,
Right.
cars in them, and you'd still have the same narrowness, but you don't have people sitting there.
Or yeah, but I mean, a car's gonna, yeah, you hit a car with a car, that's one thing, but you hit a or somebody sitting in one of those tables with a car, that's gonna be, yeah, that's the only problem I see. I mean, I think it's great they wanna expand their seating because there's none or little or none in there,
I
so.
think there's one table,
Yeah.
maybe two.
So,
That beer garden ordinance, there is some kind of enclosure requirement.
Yeah,
What's that gonna look like?
I mean, so, and there'll be more, and I think Ian's memo, next time, they would have to be some sort of fencing or fenced off area, there has to be signage. Similar to what you see at the Hot Garden, Johnny O's is a really good example, I think, of small, because his front patio area is technically considered a beer garden.
Yeah, that was my other thing, like, it doesn't quite fit the ordinance, I don't think, but.
See what Ian has to say.
Yeah.
And I must do my duty. Are there any other comments? Are there any other comments? Are there any other comments? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing at 6:11 p.m. Right, and that item will come back to us at another meeting. So we don't have to take any action on that. All right, new business. Discuss and consider the downtown design standards draft.
Okay, you have in front of you the downtown design standards draft. I'm hoping is a final draft. It's already been through CDA and approved there. Needs to go through you and to the board. There's only small changes happened when it went through CDA.
are they reflected in here?
What's that?
Are they reflected in this
Yes,
copy?
it's reflected in here. I should just sort of a reminder, this is not ordinance, this is policy. These are standards that we're sort of aiming for. Businesses can work with us, the village, if there's reasons they can't be met, so there's more flexibility here, but.
One question that I had come up, possibly impacting the village in our state highway project, is the lighting. Technically, our street lighting, does it meet these design standards?
Can you give me a page number or something?
Page number 3.
Page 3.
So if you're looking at, you know, the examples of prohibited lighting, and the first one, which would be the left-hand one that's got the two red X's in the box, our street lighting is essentially that. So even though it looks, you know, nostalgic and everything, we might not be following our own standard once.
We could grandfathering and all that, I haven't looked.
Yes, I see multiple cop-outs.
Yeah.
But
Just something I noticed, it's not really impacting the review of this document, but something we have to keep in mind.
it is. And
So, I mean, that's the decorative. There are other streetlights, there are the Alliant streetlights that are in there too.
there are, which we have no real
Control.
say over, yes. I would again say that, you know, this is policy and there are work, you know, it says if you read through the document that, you know, whether it's, I would assume the same attitude would apply to the government as we apply to businesses along in this area, where if there's reasons that things cannot meet this standard, that can be dealt with. So I think that while I understand that, yes, we should absolutely strive to meet our own standards, if there are reasons that it can't be done, that we can't do this, then there are reasons. But I would agree, and we shouldn't take that as a cop-out. I mean, we should try to meet our own standards.
I mean, I'm sure there's a substantial cost to that.
Oh, yeah. So I'm also, I mean, off the top of my head, I'm not sure what our timeline is there for streetlights. Like, I would have to, I'm curious about that now that you mention it.
You mean as to,
It's
Replacement?
eventually they'd be replaced.
are you talking the decorative ones or the other ones?
The decorative ones, I was thinking.
Well, but they are starting to look weathered and stuff, so
Yeah.
I guess add that to your list of, infinite list of things to do.
Well, we can talk about it next, maybe bring it up next Thursday. I mean, I realize it's key coming in with their plans, but we can see what they have intended, what they're gonna do with those lights too, with the,
Right.
like certain officials meeting next week.
Because, we're talking about changing parking and the bump outs and all that stuff, so. I've got one other item that I was hoping to get a definition for if I could. Page 6, the first bullet point, last sentence, it says, "A regional approach is encouraged where possible." What does regional approach mean when it comes to stormwater management and what it looks like rain gardens?
I'm not going to pretend to know what the intent is. I can certainly find out.
All I can think of, I'm like, does that mean using native plants or,
A region. Yeah, that is definitely ambiguous.
So who wrote these? Did Ian?
This is Ian.
MSA or?
This is mostly Ian.
Okay.
So that was my only other question is send it on down the line here
The
for,
regional approach is encouraging. I suspect that's referring to native plantings, but I can't obviously speak to someone else's intent.
In regards to stormwater management, I'm going to assume you wouldn't do the same things here in Wisconsin than you would in like a desert area like Utah or.
right, I mean, that's
So,
it too, so,
yeah.
or a combination of the two. Just curious what that means. Maybe it needs to be put in the definition.
I'm a little curious
Page.
myself. Page 6. I don't. The question is, if we eliminate a single sentence, does it have to go back to CDA?
No, I'm gonna say no. Because
Well, it doesn't material.
so what,
It doesn't.
The meaning.
what CDA and what you guys are doing are recommending.
True.
And the board has final say again on this. And once again, as you, this isn't ordinance, this is
That's true.
policy, and so flexibility.
So, yeah.
Well, yeah, you could either, I guess, one of two things. Trust staff to either clarify it or B, strike it and then take it to the board either way, if you like.
Well, I think we just leave it in
Just leave it there.
and Ian can answer those questions at the board meeting when he goes there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the lighting is, I mean, that's a valid point with the lighting. I'd like a better explanation. The thing is, he wrote it, the lights we have are prohibited in the future. Can we grandfather ourselves in? Then we look like we're taking,
I will say, I have seen Ian take actions, both like this and in his other capacities, to push the government towards the standards it's supposed to be. So, I mean, that's entirely feasible that he already knows, and he's like, yeah, I want you to improve your lighting.
Yeah, well, and it's like, this building, you needed, the work that got done on here, we make other businesses and other residences abide by our standards, and, so we finally had to make sure that we did it ourselves, so.
Certainly.
I actually have one other little tiny formatting item.
Okay.
Page 7, there's an extra space between the last and the second to last bullet points.
Usually those are the things I catch, so.
Extra blank space. Whose phone is that?
Larry's, sorry, Larry.
His phone right next to the microphone?
Hold on, I'm muting him.
Extra
I'm muting him.
space.
Sorry.
between bullet points on the, got it. I will get that corrected.
I have a question on the lighting as well, though.
Okay, yep.
And maybe I'm wrong because I walk by and I don't like visually think about it, but doesn't the library also have indirect, like upward lighting that goes to nowhere, like the last picture?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. Does anyone know?
It's pretty bright over there at night, and I live right over there.
I hadn't paid attention. I can next time.
I'll pull out the little mask.
Does that change the where it's located, like parking lots, so we want to illuminate a little bit more?
I don't know, it's the one that they're showing here. I mean, you're talking on the building, right, Kelly?
Yeah, like there's definitely lighting on that at night for like architectural features, but I'm almost certain it goes upwards.
Yeah, I think it does, now that you mention it.
I'm not sure, I'm looking at the map on at the beginning here. I'm not sure the library is in part
Oh, in the design, in the area,
in
that's
the
true.
area. Because the library park is excluded. This,
Yeah, let's also, it's important that we try to set the example as best we can, but
I don't disagree.
at some point, we do have to step back and look at the guidelines. It says these are not enforced as requirements.
The new library is not in the zone, so.
There's still.
But still.
Requirements.
we should be good stewards of our.
No. Technically, the library lights, I'm looking at the picture on Google Maps. Technically, the light comes out the sides and not the top.
And the main thing is it's not in the downtown design standard district either.
Right, when regarding this document.
Right. But it's still, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And that would be spoken to in the other parts of the ordinance that deal with lighting, so.
Okay, do you guys have anything else you found in here?
No picture, man. Oh, I thought there was a lot of good ideas about artwork and signage. That'll be nice. You come to a town, you see something that distinguishes and sets it apart. Even like that wall art there. Put that up somewhere in a building. That's beautiful. I think that's really cool.
but.
That one?
The one that was supposed to be out on the building?
Yeah.
That's not
Please
totally.
even go there.
Yeah, let's not relive that.
You're not stupid. This.
We may have a mutiny here tonight.
Re-traumatize the clerk.
Yeah. Marilyn, make quick.
Myself. To some degree.
So I'll make a motion that we recommend the revised downtown design standards to the village board.
Second. Any additional comments? Anyone online with more comments? Yes, all right, I'm just making sure everyone's got their chance to speak.
Yes.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And none, motion passes 5-0. All right. The announcements, statements, questions for planning? Future agenda?
So we'll be bringing, obviously we'll be bringing this beer garden CUP back. Don't check in real quick, I think. That's my only application in at the moment. That doesn't mean that Ian doesn't have something for y'all that I've forgotten about, so.
And our next meeting is August 12th. Woo. Man, the year's flying by. Seems. All right, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Jared, second by Gary. to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned at 6:25.